Hey everyone, before this video begins, I just want to say something really quickly, especially with the YouTube algorithm that is screwing up with my channel as well, I do believe. So, if you're not being able to notice that my when videos are being uploaded, even if you are subscribed, or even if you're not, please subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when uploads are happening, because I've been noticing that, the views and the uploads have been kind of low, I would say, and it has been ever since after my She-Hulk and also Strike Witch's video. So I think that the YouTube algorithm is kind of fucking up and screwing with my own channel as well as several others here on YouTube. So please, 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 even if you know someone that does watch my videos and are not subscribed, make sure that they are, make sure that you are, and again, if you need to, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when a video has been uploaded and whatnot, which will help me with things a lot more easier, I would say. With that all said and done, just help me try to defeat the YouTube algorithm, I guess, and yeah, just make sure that you guys stay subscribed to the channel and make sure that we can defeat the YouTube algorithm and hopefully that YouTube will go back to normal eventually. But with that all said and done, please enjoy the review. Greetings, geeks and nerds, I'm the Universe and I'm White and Nerdy. And I talked about this before, and I kind of hinted at this before, and also I did a top 10 on this before, which I had to re-upload because I got in trouble using, I believe, the music from it. So I honestly don't know what happened there. But anyways, I'm going to be talking about Batman Beyond, and if you want to check out my top 10 episode, which one that I thought were my favorites, I will pin it in the comment down below so you guys can go and find that video and check it out if you are so inclined. But I mentioned this before that Bruce Wayne is not my favorite Batman. It would be this guy, who we'll talk about more in just a bit here. So I'm going to give you guys my review and also retrospective and overview of Batman Beyond. And mostly, I have very good things to say about this animated series. What's the only downside? The final season was not as good as it probably should have been, especially the last episode, which I believe was not the intended episode that they wanted to end on. I think Dwayne McGuffey was the guy that said that it was not the intention to end that way. But Warner Brothers, I suppose, was the one that pulled the plug on it or something. Because, it's like we have infamous Batman series, like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock. And yet, every single one of those shows with the final episode, most of them don't feel like they have the punch, so to speak. I think that Superman, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited for final episodes, I think Static Shock, but I haven't seen Static Shock in a long time, had great final episodes. And Batman Beyond was the one that especially Batman the Animated Series for final episodes was like, really? That's where you're gonna end things? This is where you're going to just pull the plug on the series and never talk about it again? But Batman Beyond was so popular that he showed up in Batman the not Batman in Justice League Unlimited, and I believe he also made cameos in Static Shock, if I'm not mistaken. So here we are talking about one of my favorite Batmans of all time, and for good reason, because it's so fucking obvious why I like this Batman so much. So let's head to the future and talk about one of my favorite Batmans of all time. Let's go to the future and beyond with Batman Beyond. In the future, Batman is still Batman, kicking ass, taking aim, and punching crime straight in the face with his mighty hammers of justice. But this Batman is an older Batman. But while out on the field, Batman suffers a heart attack, heart injury, whatever happened to him, and he ends up getting the crap kicked out of him by another thug. This leads into an infamous moment where Batman finally does the thing that he'd always regret, holding a gun up to a criminal and threatening to shoot the criminal with the handgun. After this happened, Bruce Wayne ends up a broken man and retires from the role as Batman, saying that Gotham City is forever safe and Batman is no longer needed.
Never again.
Meanwhile, 20 years later, and the new Gotham City is in very much cherishing, especially since crime is kind of still rampant since Batman had been gone for 20 years. This is where we get to meet Terry McGinnis, our newfound hero, and basically our new Batman of this series, a high school student who very much acts like Bruce Wayne. He's a hot-headed kid who has an attitude problem with an attitude adjustment that needs to be fixed and fixed in a hurry. But his life is not all as it seems, and it's not that great. Because, for example, Terry's parents are actually divorced. They're not together, and being in a separation problem makes Terry feel anxious and on edge for having divorced parents, something that a lot of kids at the time were having. That is until fate or destiny hands him and lands him in the hands of Bruce Wayne, who he ends up saving the life of, aside from the classic Joker clan, something that we saw a reference to in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. But similar to Batman, when Terry returns home from helping out Bruce Wayne and making sure that he went to bed and then he kicked him out of his house, he finds out that his father is dead. As at this moment, they decided to basically connect this Batman, to Bruce Wayne, and showing that they're very similar characters, just with different personas. And yes, Terry is unfortunately a broken man for what has happened to his father, so broken in fact that he is forever caught in the state of depression.
Yes! I'm not afraid of those guys. We could have fought them off, me and Dad. We could have fought. I yelled at him, Mom.
And yes, if it's not obvious, it is very obvious that this comparison of Batman is very similar to that of a familiar Marvel character and my favorite Marvel superhero. And yes, indeed, Batman Beyond is basically a parody or homage to Spider-Man, and I'm not complaining since Spider-Man is one of my all-time favorite superheroes. Now, while yes, I love my favorite wall crawler and web slinger as much as the next person, the Spider-Man connection is not the only reason why I love Batman Beyond more than Bruce Wayne. There is a good reason why I like Terry McGinnis more than Bruce Wayne, and I would think, and I suspect that a lot of people were thinking that I forgot his name. I did not. And one of the reasons that I'm going to talk about more in just a little bit later towards this video is the characterization of Terry. I touched upon it briefly already, where he is a teenager who had divorced parents, he witnesses his father dying, and as I said, yeah, divorce during that time period was becoming more of a bigger thing. And yeah, I can connect to him even more now because my parents are divorced, so it makes, and I know that probably, especially for a lot of my viewers and subscribers out there, your parents might be. So there is that connection that I can hold to this Batman more than Bruce Wayne. But also, and I will get to it later, Terry McGinnis is a much more well-developed and well-written character, even more so than Spider-Man. Oh yeah, I just backlashed my own favorite superhero. I might get Captain America's shield to the face later, but it'll be a worthy sacrifice. But more on that in a bit. But this Batman Beyond, or this Batman just in general, is a lot different than the original. As was the original suffered from the case of his villains basically being mirrors of himself, Batman Beyond deals with the opposite side of the villains, as these are some very weird villains that no one could ever think to deal with, except for I would assume, 16 or 18-year-old teenager in the future, as he deals with some very, very weird and very obscure villains in the future. And I think the fun of this was like, listen, we only call him Batman Beyond. We only have him in the DC universe because he's connected to the original Batman, which Kevin Conroy, my God, man, sells it as older Bruce Wayne. He is phenomenal as older Bruce Wayne. As not only is he a hard ass because he has to be, he's one of the most kindest and sweetest gentlemen that you could ever meet, despite being Terry's teacher and mentor throughout the series. As Bruce had to teach Terry the ways of Batman, he's actually even more so better as a mentor than he was as an original superhero from way back when. Now, I don't want nobody going in the comments saying that I hate Kevin Conroy as Batman. Quite the contrary. He is an amazing Batman. But in my own personal opinion, he excels more as just an older Bruce Wayne than he does as Batman, as there's more power and weight behind his words than there is when he's Batman. That is a compliment. That is a compliment in the highest degree. I really do love Kevin as older Batman. Not just for the power behind his words, but because you get to see another side of him that was kind of missing in the Batman the Animated Series. The detective side. And not only is it Terry going to studying and learning the detective route, but Bruce is even more so taking on his detective role. So it's nice to see him go from basically the Zorro route into basically the Sherlock Holmes route, which is two characters that was the inspiration for Batman, which is insanely nice to see in this category. But this Batman's Rogue Gallery is quite different than Batman's Rogue Gallery because Batman had Joker, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Catwoman, Penguin, even the Ventriloquist, and even Riddler. This Batman's arsenal, while he does face off with some of Batman's adversaries like Mr. Freeze and also Bane made a cameo in a later episode, he mostly faces off against some of the most weirdest and obscure supervillains in this ring. While there are some that do reappear, there's only some that are basically the highlight big bad of this series. And I know, not Big Bad Beetleborgs. Though I do have to review that sometime when the DVD prices cut down on Amazon because yikes, over $100 for them fucking DVDs is kind of obscure. And I still regret having my mother, when she kicked me out, throw away that DVD. But I'm getting off topic. So let's talk about the Rogue Gallery of Batman Beyond. Not every single rogue that he has faced in other episodes, just some of them that were the most infamous and basically making their appearance. So who is this Batman's Rogue Gallery? There is a corporate businessman known only as Derek Powers who appears in the first two episodes as he shows off that he is a worthy adversary for the Batman line, especially taking over the Wayne Corporation. As it is very obvious that he is a direct parody of Lex Luthor, but that is not a disgrace to the Lex Luthor character, as Blight is basically more evil. And due to an unforeseen accident and unforeseen circumstance, he becomes a bioluminescent skeleton known only in the Batman franchise as Blight. Then there is Ink, or Unique, who is basically an ink blob that has superpowers, and yet she's a metahuman that we later on see in the Batman in the Static Shock franchise. As Ink is technically this Batman's version of Clayface, except a little bit more deadlier than Clayface, and also a little bit more mysterious. There's a very weird and abnormal character known as Screech, who's basically a guy wearing power armor that basically emits like high pressure bolts of hearing or something. Then there's also the Royal Flush Gang, which if you know the Royal Flush Gang, you know that they appeared in a lot more media than just Batman Beyond, but this Batman deals with a different version of the Royal Flush Gang than Batman did. He also has a spellbinding enemy named Spellbinder who can put people under hypnosis spells and make them see things that aren't really there or demonstrate things that aren't really there. There are several hundred more villains than just the ones that I have mentioned in Batman Beyond, the animated series. There are the Joker, there are some bullies that he deals with. There is technically a reference to Flash Thompson in this series, who is voiced by Seth Green of all things. It was a weird time, okay? But Wilfredo definitely shows his place as a teenage Batman. And as I said earlier, he is a very well-developed character. As very similar to Spider-Man, he's just a teenage student who happens to have a secret identity known only that he is Batman. But he cannot tell anybody except for one friend, Maxine, voiced by the legendary and my favorite voice actress, and she's a voice acting goddess in my opinion, and that is Cree Summers. But he is just a very well-developed character as he goes with different emotions, different fears, and even he does Batman to basically protect his own family, his little brother and his mom. And also, yeah, you could point out that maybe an influence for Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle came from Batman Beyond. Yet, no, he doesn't tell his family that he is Batman. He chooses to in one episode, but his mother doesn't believe him because, well, come on now. It is a Saturday morning cartoon. You have to have some imagination to the characters. But I love that every time when Will Friedle is even just talking at Terry McGinnis, you do understand the thing that he's going through, the drama that he's going through, and yeah, for kids watching this, you don't know what high school is, you don't know what middle school is. You're basically within like second, third grade, or even younger. That you don't get to witness this magical year of torment, drama, and despair with the school life. I know that there are other TV shows that help with the school life and trying to tell people how middle school and high school kind of react, but I gotta say, for Terry McGinnis, he kind of gets it across very, very well. As you know, he's a superhero that has to deal with high school, but also has to deal with being Batman. There are some Spider-Man examples that you can use where he deals with be, being in high school and being Spider-Man. The Tom Holland film definitely comes to mind more so than the Andrew Garfield films and even the Tobey Maguire film, where in the Maguire film they mostly had him be more of trying to get the adult side of Peter Parker than focusing on what people really do like about Spider-Man, the teenager side, the side that more people can actually relate to. Nothing against the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, it's just that I wish that they would pay attention to that a little bit more before making him be an adult, because when he was an adult, he wasn't that relatable. You know, he was just this quirky adult that went through these different problems, having relationship problems, jobs, and etc. etc. But basically, with Batman Beyond, he only has one female throughout the series that he mostly paid attention to, Dana, who he actually married at the end when he finally makes his ending appearance in Justice League Unlimited. But how do I feel about Batman Beyond just in a total? It is a great and wonderful, and just above all, my favorite Batman series of all time. Yes, I love Batman the Animated Series, but since this was the one that I mostly did grow up with and watch from beginning to end, this is by far my favorite Batman series. This is just a fantastic superhero action series that you can watch any day of the week and begin at any episode, although I start with the first so you can understand why this Batman is going up against crime. It's full of great animation, some spectacular moments, and also some very great and amazing voice acting that come to us from the original Batman the Animated Series. You should check this series out if you are interested. Batman Beyond is by far my favorite Batman series, and if you want to really get into the details of why, check out this series. As you can pick this up for basically dirt cheap online, especially even more so than some stores that were selling it. As I got my copy, this big bulky thing, this complete series with basically 8 DVDs plus bonus DVDs for only $15. That is dirt cheap compared to some other stores that sell this thing, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, and especially it's a great Batman series, and it goes to show you why Will Friedle is by far my favorite Batman. Not really for the Spider-Man comparison, although that didn't help. Although that did help. It's mostly more so of the I can relate to him guy category, and there are so many episodes where you can really relate to them. Which again, if you want to see what my top 10 favorite episodes were and kind of get a grasp on the series, check out the link that I will pin in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely please subscribe, since the YouTube algorithm for me is kind of getting screwed up where my views will go from like great to very bad to just basically in the middle. So hopefully that we can get this thing all basically fixed out, or YouTube can try to straighten itself out, with YouTube trying to straighten out its own problems. That's hysterical, because when did YouTube ever fix their own problems? Hardly ever. So, yeah, please help me try to not destroy, that sounds bad, but try to help me fix the YouTube algorithm problem, as this will be a big help in basically seeing my videos become more better than what they have been, because seeing the views like that kind of has me a little depressed to even continue making videos, which I promise that I'll try to, but hopefully that we can get this algorithm problem fixed. Hopefully relatively very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter in the link in the description down below. I've been Lead Universe. I've been you nerdy. Please check out Batman Beyond, and thank you guys for watching this review. And until next time, guys, take care.